As the crow flies, the 2012 Makeover house is located about 6 hours from the Gulf Coast. It's Thursday, August 30th, and Tropical Storm Isaac is forecasted to move into our region around nightfall. Right now we're experiencing about 20-mile-an-hour winds, and forecasters are warning us the wind gusts may reach about 30 to 40 when this thing finally arrives around this part of Arkansas. So as a precautionary measure, our crew is moving the remaining replacement windows inside the house. They're also securing our materials and other project equipment in anticipation of these high winds from the tropical storm. So as week 2 winds up for Makeover 2012, it was very productive. Our weather bar windows from Fort Smith, Arkansas's Harry G. Bar Company arrived on Monday, and the guys didn't waste any time putting those things in the house, as you can see behind me. We got about half of those in, and those very efficient windows replaced some very inefficient single pane glass windows. The weather bar vinyl frame windows are very energy efficient, they're ENERGY STAR qualified, and they're also certified by the National Fenestration Rating Council. Today we're going to talk about window replacement, and with me is Ed Hill. Ed is with our building and grounds crew at Arkansas Electric Cooperatives Corp. and also is a master carpenter. And let's talk about the windows. Behind me is a double hung window, and this is one of the window frames out of it. So they've been completely removed, and we're going to talk about what happens next. We know many of you are do-it-yourselfers. We would categorize this as an advanced project, but we know several of you have the tools and the means and the skill sets to do this. But what I wanted to point out here today is how do we make this thing efficient? We do have the Harry G. Bar window that's going to go in, which is a high efficiency window, but how do we treat the window after it's in to make it efficient and stop all the air infiltration? Well, Ed, what we have here, as we look at the frame, we have the wooden frame where the window travels up and down, and then there's several pieces of wood in here. Tell us about each one of those.
Well, we have, this was the frame where it ran before, and then right here was the trim piece that was also a runner for the outside of the window.
Is this where the window actually stops against to keep it from coming outside?
Correct.
So it'd be the window stop then, right? Okay.
Correct. And then we have just 2 trim pieces that covered the cavity of the brick and the wood frame.
Okay, so we've got the wooden frame, the wooden stop, and then 2 pieces of trim.
Correct.
And one thing that you'll note in there, that all those pieces of trim have small air gaps between those. And the blower door test revealed that we were pulling air all through those windows. And even the Thomases indicated that anytime the wind blew out here in the country, that their curtains would blow inside the house. So once the window's replaced, we're not done yet. The window is efficient, but after that we have to come back and we apply layers of caulking around the frame. We'll actually foam underneath the window to make sure no air can transfer either in or out. And then we're also using a new product that many folks are using on window replacement and new window installation. It's a mastic flange that has a real sticky back, and we will actually apply it over this wood, and it'll stop any ability for air to transfer in or out, and also stops moisture from developing as well. And once the window's set, the flashing's on, we'll come back with some aluminum trim that will be bent and fit properly around all these wooden pieces, and then we apply one final bead of acrylic clear caulking, and the window will be completely sealed and efficient for the dwelling. For the do-it-yourselfer, Ed, let's talk about how do we start. Let's say, for instance, the window was here and the sash is worn out. What does one need to do to begin to get the proper window?
Well, you have to, inside of your window, you have the track, and you have to measure from the side to side inside the track where your window is running, and that would be your width, and then also with your height, also it'll have it.
Okay,
so it butts up and trims out.
Okay, so on the inside width, we're on the interior inside the piece of trim here.
Yes.
So tape measure goes from
inside
point to
of where
point,
your window is to inside.
and then when we're measuring the height, where does our tape measure go?
It goes all the way to the bottom of your window and all the way to the top where it seals off.
So bottom of the bottom sash to the top of the top sash.
Correct.
And those are the measurements that we would give to the window manufacturer.
Yes.
And then he makes the
And
replacement
this
kit.
is on a brick installation also. On a wood installation, you have your flanges on the outside, which you pretty much have to tear the outside off and pull that off, and you got your flanges to mount your windows by.
Okay, so brick, we're actually doing almost a perfect fit.
Correct.
And then the wood installation would have the nailing or flanges where we put a installation screw for attachment.
That's correct.
Okay, very good, very good. So how do we remove the old window? How does that take place?
Well, this one here, you know, all of them's a little different, but this one here, we just had to cut the stop off to get the outer window that was raised. We had to cut it off just to get it out, and then from there you got a metal track that run inside here that held your second window in, and you had to remove it, and all of it came out together.
Okay, so to remove the stop, we need a sawzall, or even a chisel. If somebody had a sharp chisel and was patient with the hammer, they could remove the stop, and then the window parts come out.
That's correct.
Very good. Okay, anything else that we're missing as far as removal of the window?
No, you just have to be careful when you measure them windows and give yourself a little bit of slack, because if you don't, because they come with the foam on the outside of the windows anyway to seal off, and if you get them too tight, you will really have a fit.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. Not all windows are alike, so when you're looking at replacement windows, look for the NFRC sticker. The NFRC is a nonprofit organization whose goal is to provide fair, accurate, and reliable information about their products so you can make conscientious decisions. You'll note that our replacement windows have a U factor of 0.30. U factor is the inverse of R value, so we recommend low U factor windows for the state of Arkansas. A low U factor value equates to a higher R value. Furthermore, our windows also have a solar heat gain coefficient of 0.22. Solar heat gain refers to the sun's heat that radiates through and is emitted into the house. So we recommend a low solar heat gain coefficient for this region or climate within Arkansas. So if we were to replace windows in Minot, North Dakota, say for instance, we would want to use a high solar heat gain. This would allow the sun's radiant heat into the house, and that's the last thing we want in Arkansas as we're trying to cool the house. So since Arkansans spend a great deal of their hard-earned money on cooling their homes rather than heating, we recommend a low solar heat gain coefficient. Another important component installed this week were the geothermal loops, who successfully installed 4 loops for the upcoming Water Furnace Envision geothermal system, which we hope to be installed next week. Total Service Company, led by Fred Danforth, punched in 4 210-foot loops over a 2-day period. Our Makeover project will receive the most efficient heating and cooling system on the market today.
My name's Fred Danforth, and I'm CEO for Total Service Company Incorporated out of Pontotoc, Mississippi. We do dedicated geothermal drilling, and we have 7 rigs, and we work 18 different states. We do projects from 2-ton to 600-ton. It depends on the project, where we are, and what's going on. We've been in geothermal since 1995 is when we started. But we work as far west as Texas, as far north as Indiana, and as far east as Virginia, and as far south as Tampa, Florida. There's all kinds of different kinds of drilling. We do geothermal, we do mud rotary drilling, and that is the type of drilling we're doing here, where you use water, you drill a hole, the water brings the cuttings up out of the ground and seals the hole up so you got time to put the pipe in. We also do air rotary, which is we use a downhole hammer. We do a lot of that over around Little Rock and Cabot and Mountain Home. We have encountered a lot of stuff here. We were drilled through an aquifer that we fought for a day and a half getting it sealed up by putting bentonite, which is a high yield clay that swells up. We finally got the aquifer sealed up. We got the hole drilled, and the next hole took us an hour and a half to drill it. Now, all the drilling is different, and it can change every 20 feet. You can drill a good hole here and move up 20 feet and it can go bad. Geothermal is it's not new to the industry. It's been around since 1946. But a lot of people, the upfront money is more money, but the energy savings is greater. If you look at it on a cost basis of how much it costs to put it in and everything, and the life cycle cost compared to air source equipment, your savings on the energy, there is no you can't afford to put anything but geothermal in. Mr. Rude asked for 200-foot holes, 4 of them. We are drilling 206 foot is how much pipe we're putting in the ground. We're giving him 6 foot extra on each hole. If you drill the hole, put the pipe in it, and you do not get it backfilled with grout, sand, whatever you're going to put in it, if you just put the pipe in the hole, it does not work. The pipe has to have something to transfer heat to. Backfilling the holes is more important than drilling them. If you don't get them backfilled, you might as well not drill them, because that is the big thing.
So next week, we hope to complete the window installation process, as well as finishing and trimming out the outside of the windows, as well as installing the water furnace Envision geothermal system. So until then, have a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you after Isaac passes through.